breaking down the law, and it is time now. And I just given him all those grooves when he was going to the playoffs and getting into the championship games and Super Bowls. Between the eights, with the original 88 from the Dallas Cowboys, Drew Pearson, and it's One Nation Under a Groove Parliament, and it's Cowboys Nation time as they go to the frozen tundra up at Lambeau Field in Green Bay, Wisconsin. We welcome our man, Drew Pearson.
Good morning, gentlemen. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
You got Blake and you got me. That's all you need. Flanked.
Right, that's all I need. Welcome. I'm in good shape.
That's right. The running back, the quarterback, and the receiver. I don't mind blocking. Make sure that Blake gets you the ball, Drew.
Amen. And he knows where to go with it.
Yes, indeed.
And all the other guys in the huddle would understand that.
As long as I'm in the championship photo, Drew Pearson, that's what counts. This is the ultimate and greatest team sport in my estimation. We have an opportunity as Cowboys fans and former players like yourself, Super Bowl champions, to go up and make a statement and continue the winning ways on the road.
Yes, this was a big game. The biggest game that's been around here in quite some time. And, of course, we got the college football championship game coming up. But, there's not been much talk about that around here. I know a lot of people here from Oregon and in Ohio, but these Cowboy fans around here have been waiting for this a long time, and they're not going to be upstaged by no college football game. So we're going back to Lambeau, and it's the first playoff game back there since the Ice Bowl. And the conditions actually are improving. They expect a high today of 21 degrees. So what more do you want? Playoff football in Lambeau Field, this is what I'm talking about.
We're talking with Drew Pearson, the original 88 Super Bowl champion from the Dallas Cowboys, between the eights. Drew, tell us about your experiences. I'm loving it with the Green Bay Packers that you've had.
Well, we played the Packers over the years, and I think we played them a couple times in the playoffs, but it was always here in Dallas when they had James Lofton and John Jefferson running routes up there and catching everything that they were throwing. But, we don't have much playoff experience against them. But we played them pretty well when we played them. I think we played them over my career maybe 5 times, including playoffs, and beat them 4 times. So we had their number back in the day. But this is a new era. Aaron Rodgers in that group, and they feel comfortable playing at home. We're 8-0 on the road, but they're 8-0 at home. And so something's got to give here. And it's what's remarkable, guys, the last team both of these guys have beaten is the Detroit Lions. The Cowboys beat them last week in the playoff wild card round, and the Packers beat the Lions the last regular season game of the last game of the regular season en route to clinching their, playoff home game for this game. So I think they beat we beat them, and we gave up 20 points, and I think the Packers gave up 20 points. So there's a lot of things that are working here, and you're trying to figure out who has the advantage in this situation. And I know the Packers maybe have that slight advantage because they're playing at home, but, man, I wouldn't discount the Cowboys and what they're doing right now and the way they're playing some great football.
We're talking with Drew Pearson, the original 88 Super Bowl champ of the Dallas Cowboys, between the eights.
Hey, Drew, this is Jeff Blake. Quick question. You played in a lot of cold games. I played in a lot of cold games playing in the Midwest and Cincinnati and, having to play up there in Cleveland. The Cowboys, do you really think that cold weather is going to affect the way the receivers catch the ball and the way the quarterback throw the ball?
No, I don't think so. I think they'll
so?
get used to it. The thing I'm worrying about is not so much cold weather, but if there's wind conditions involved in this, that's what you fear most, I would think, as a quarterback and as a receiver. And what kind of wind is it? Is it a swirling type wind? Is it gusting type wind? So you have to be prepared for that. I think the cold weather, once you get out there, you figure out what you're going to wear. You figure out what might be too much, what might not be enough. You figure out what cleats are the best in this situation. I understand they went out on the field yesterday to test things out. So they kind of have a feel of having deal with that cold weather. But what concerns me more is it just going to be cold weather? Is it going to be a chill factor? And, of course, if there is a chill factor, that means the wind conditions are up, and that could affect you as far as throwing the football.
Talking with Drew Pearson, the original 88 of the Dallas Cowboys, Super Bowl champ, between the eights. What about the kicking game, Drew? Because you have a guy like Dan Bailey who –
because it might not be a lot of points scored today.
You know, and that wind, as you mentioned, could affect the kick. Mason Crosby, the kicker for Green Bay, actually grew up just north of Austin in Georgetown, Texas. That kicking game is 1/3 of what goes on with special teams. What's your thoughts about that?
Yeah, the kicking game, I think, they always seem to play a big part in playoff games. There's no question about that. And, you know, we have to be on. When we get opportunities to kick field goals, we have to make those field goals. And what we want to do defensively is prevent them from or keep kicking field goals as opposed to, you know, scoring touchdowns. If they get in the red zone, we want to shut them down, which we have done, you know, very well this season, shutting teams down when they get in the red zone and forcing them to kick field goals. So we want that situation, but the thing I'm concerned about is returns, setting up field position. The Packers are pretty good as returning kicks and punts, and our main guy, Dwayne Harris, really hasn't gotten off the snide this year and has had a pretty average season. So we're kind of hoping that he'll do something in this game to bust loose and give us some good field position on kickoff returns and punt returns as well. So special teams, just like the offense, defense, are a big part of this football game. And you want to win the offensive battles, you want to win the defensive battles, and you certainly want to win the special team battles as well.
Well, Drew, we could look to our man Jeff Blake here because he's an alum with D. Harris. Those are the East Carolina Pirates.
That pirate gonna show up today. That pirate gonna show up today.
You need to text him.
I'm gonna text him. I got his number. I text him. I hit him up and say, "Hey, represent today. We need a big play."
Drew Pearson says you need to represent, son.
The real 88 say you need to represent.
Yeah, he needs to step up, man. You know, I text Dwayne once in a while. I like to confuse him with some of my texts, you know. But mostly this week has been encouragement. They had an article in Dallas about what he means to this football team and what he hasn't been giving to this football team this season so far. But I got a feeling he's about to break out. Do you know who Dwayne Harris's brother is?
Actually, I don't.
His brother's Jay Crowder. That used to be a former Maverick, now with the Boston Celtics.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I was at a basketball game, a Maverick game last year, and Dwayne was there. He came down and talked to me, and his mom was there, and I said, Dwayne, why are you here? You know, you're a basketball fan? He says, no, that's my brother out there playing. Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Let me see what mom's doing. Is she single?
All right, now, Drew. Drew, it's amazing. It's amazing when you have professional athlete that how many people that you're related to are also professional athletes. That's something we was talking about earlier, and it's something to it. You know, and everybody wants to know.
Yeah,
it's
there's
that connection.
A connection there some kind of way. And you look at those two guys, and you think about how Dwayne plays football and how Jay plays basketball. You know, you could tell they come from the same genes. You know?
Right, exactly.
Dwayne played basketball; he played the same way as Jay. And if Jay Crowder played football, you know, he play it the same way as Dwayne plays it, with a lot of heart, a lot of effort. And both guys are kind of overachievers for sure.
Definitely.
We're talking with Drew Pearson here, between the eights, the original 88 Super Bowl champion for the Dallas Cowboys. I want to talk about a guy that could give the Cowboys a big boost when it comes against now a torn or rip in the calf muscle, Aaron Rodgers, Tyrone Crawford. It's been a beast in the middle, and that defensive line, they put pressure on Aaron Rodgers and can run him down. It looks like Anthony Spencer is contributing now, and you want to stop Eddie Lacy so that that run game of Green Bay doesn't get off to a great start or make a difference. So when Aaron Rodgers goes play action, tell us about the defense briefly, Drew.
Yeah, the defense has been playing very well, and you know they're the we fence, you know. they don't call themselves the defense. They call them the we fence because there's no superstars on there. Nobody made the Pro Bowl. And no one's talking about these guys. A lot of people didn't even know who they were before the season started.
The no-name defense, huh?
Yeah, the we fence. So anyway, they're starting to make a name for themselves now. And as you mentioned, a guy like Tyron Crawford, he's really stepped up and played well this year. What about Jeremy Mincy?
Yes.
The seasons he's having. You know, he's been to a Super Bowl. He was with Denver last year, so he knows what it takes. And so these guys are realizing the opportunity they have. And the thing about our defense is they don't get tired because they have a great rotation. You know, you got your starting 4 defensive linemen, but if those guys get tired, they raise their hand. They come out because each and every play they're being held accountable. And fatigue is not an excuse. You know, if you're tired, get out of there. We'll get somebody else in there. So if you're getting beat, it can't be because of fatigue. So these guys with their rotation that they have in their defensive line, bringing in fresh people, it kind of has a tendency to wear down opponents' offensive line. And I don't know if you guys noticed, but where we've had our most success in getting to the quarterback and putting pressure on quarterbacks that we played so far this season, it's been late in the game, second half of the game. Look what we did to Matthew Stafford in the second half of that game last week.
Yes.
You know, they were up 10 points at halftime. They had 3 points in the second half. We went in there and made adjustments, and then with the relentless attitude of that defensive line, eventually they put that pressure on Stafford, and he wasn't the same quarterback in the second half that he was in the first half. So that's the strategy of the defense, keeping guys fresh, keeping guys healthy, keeping moving guys in and out of there. And, of course, with that mix led by Mincy and Crawford and George Selby, Nick Hayden as your starters, that's really worked for the Cowboys, really worked well for the Cowboys this season.
Drew, we just want to we're not going to end on a low note because you're going to be back next week. We just want to pay our respects and condolences to one of your teammates, Jethro Pugh, 2-time Super Bowl champion, who passed this past week. Tell us about Jethro Pugh as a person and teammate.
Yeah, just a great guy, man. Just saddened by the news. You know, he knew Jethro was a little sick, but he was still getting around. He was still functioning very well mentally. He just had a golf tournament. He has one every year, raise money for scholarships and stuff in the South Dallas area. And that was back in September. And, you know, he was, you know, in good spirits then. And I had seen his son recently and before his passing, and everything was fine, you know. Still his dad, still getting around and that type of thing, despite some of the physical deficiencies he was dealing with because of his 14-year career, playing in the National Football League. But Jethro as a teammate was the best, a consummate pro, never complained, just went out there and did his job no matter what was asked of him. And then, you know, as a person, he was even better than that because he was a low-key, quiet type of person. But when he spoke, you know, people, you know, listened because he didn't speak that much. So if Jethro had something to say, you better listen because it certainly would end up being profound. So definitely going to miss Jethro Pugh. You know, we lost Robert Newhouse and now Jethro Pugh. And as my group and the guys before me start getting older and older, you know, I guess we'll start hearing more and more about these kind of things. But when I heard about Jethro, I was really surprised because, you know, tomorrow's my birthday. I'll be 64 tomorrow. And,
Happy birthday. Happy birthday,
Drew.
Yeah, thank you. And Jethro's only 70 years old. You know, that's 6 years from now. I'm thinking 10 years, I'll be 74. Wow. You know, hopefully I'll be able to, you know, be in good health and living at that time. But when you think of somebody passing away at, you know, 70, you know, back in the day, that might have been old, but now when you're 64, you know, that ain't that old.
No.
So I just hate to hear that. And his funeral will be next Thursday up here in Dallas at the Oak Cliff Fellowship Baptist Church. So if Cowboy Nation wants to come up for that and pay respects to the great Jethro Pugh, I think the service will start at 11 a.m.
Drew, thank you so much for that information and that little insight about Jethro Pugh. who passed away on the 7th of January here, 70 years old. Also, listeners, if you want to give a shout-out to Drew Pearson tomorrow, go on Twitter, and it's at 88 Drew Pearson, and tell our man happy birthday. So
yeah, I'll be 64, but that Super Bowl ring, when I just take it into the club, it makes me look a lot younger.
Yes, it does, Drew. Man, listen, we are pulling for the Cowboys to get out to Arizona. I'm going to have Jeff get out there as well. It's the 20th anniversary of his Pro Bowl appearance. He threw the longest touchdown pass in Pro Bowl history. It still stands as we speak with you. So a lot of great things going on. The score for today from Drew Pearson.
Cowboys win this one. It's going to be a tough one. There's going to be some scoring involved. Hopefully we can run the ball and keep Aaron Rodgers off the field, limit his plays and opportunities. You know, the Green Bay Packers had the fewest offensive possessions in the league throughout this season. So hopefully we can continue that and control the time of possession like we have. We've led the league in time of possessions this year. And so anyway, I think the Cowboys can control this football game, put pressure on Rodgers, run the football. Dez will have a big game because they can't cover him with Sam Shields. And the Cowboys will win this game 31-28.
There he is.
Field goal by Dan Bailey wins it, and the Cowboys move on to Seattle in the NFC Championship game. Here we go.
I love it. I love it. Drew, always a pleasure. Again, we say it to you on air. Happy birthday from us at Laying Down the Law. Jeff Blake, myself, and Joseph Lopez, and Ryan Willett, and Chico, Rod Chico Tanner as well. We all want to give you the best of happy birthday wishes for tomorrow. We'll hit you up. I'll hit you up at least on Twitter as well.
You got it. Thanks, guys, and go Cowboys. Here we go. And Blake?
Yes, sir.
We missed you the last couple of weeks, but you still could throw to me anytime, okay?
All right. Got you.
Got
Anytime.
it, bro.
We might need to do a little charity thing up in Dallas, Drew, where you get some passes from Jeff and we come up and maybe do something for charity for you or something like that. We'd love to involve ourselves.
Yeah, anytime you got something going on, just let us know.
Yeah, sure. Should I use one hand or two hands?
Hey,
Doesn't matter.
2 fingers for you.
You got it.
All right.
Got it.
Thanks, Drew. We appreciate it. Okay. We're going to come back after a sidebar. We're rolling today. It's an NFL playoff weekend, continued divisional round, and the college football championship. But next up, a former Green Bay Packer and Pac-12 man. Going to talk about both of those when we come back right here on Laying Down the Law.